So I've recently been doing a deep dive through a lot of my books as we're preparing for Q4, and I noticed that I've had my second book that's actually crossed over the 10K mark and made over $11,000. So I thought it would be quite interesting to do a mini case study on that particular book. Now, I actually released this book over the Q4 period last year, and it didn't do half as well as I expected, only made roughly $500 over the Q4 period. But then in January, it made around $366, and the highest point in July, it made nearly $2,500 in 1 month. So despite the underwhelming start to the book, it definitely had factors that I knew in the long term would help it sell well, which I will be discussing in this video. Now, these are the steps that I follow when creating my books. However, I've only had 2 that have crossed over the 10K mark. So don't think that every book that you create is going to do the same, but following these steps should eventually help you find success with some books. So the first thing I wanted to talk about with this particular book is the research process. Now, this is going to be the foundation of any successful book. Gone are the days where you can just throw up a book on Amazon and expect it to get sales. You really need to be spending a lot of time doing research, validating your niches to ensure that you can make money and you're not wasting your time. Now, the first thing I made sure with this particular book was that it was in a high demand niche. So with this, you need to be seeing several books with low BSRs for your particular keyword. And for this particular keyword, I was seeing several books with BSRs under 40,000. And the lower the BSR ensures the more demand there is in that book. So if you really want to create a book that does have the potential to make over 5 figures, then you really need to be targeting keywords that have books with BSRs under 40, 30, 20, even 10,000. As I said, the lower the better. Now, these aren't always easy to come across, but I do have several research videos on my channels that you can check out and watch. The next thing you want to ensure is that there is a low amount of competition, and this basically means there's low search results, as I don't like to compete against a lot of books. So for this keyword, there were under 1,000 results, but when I looked through the books on the first, second, and third page, not every single book actually had the keyword of the title included. So I definitely saw it as an opportunity to make sure that I include those exact keywords in my title to ensure that I get a favorable position when my book starts selling. So with this point, even though there might be a certain number of search results, just make sure that you look through the books and ensure that every book is actually using the searched keyword. Then the third thing you want to make sure is that recent books are selling well. So anything that's been created in the past month or 3 months has actually got sales and a very good BSR. This will help you to understand that new publishers can actually sell well under that keyword, and it's not just dominated by 1 or 2 books. Now, the next thing you want to be looking at is that if you actually have an interest and knowledge in the topic. Now, this is going to help your book to be able to stand out. Too many times I see publishers trying to create books that are similar to what's already selling well. But if you really want to stand out, it really needs to be something unique. And the best way to do that is for yourself to actually understand the topic and have an interest, just so that you can use that to create something that's hugely different to what's on the market. It's not just about creating something with more pages, but really adding your own personal touch, serving the customer's needs with your book and providing an outstanding experience. And I believe this can only be done when you are actually interested in the area, as you'll go to the lengths to create the best book possible and you won't cut corners. The fifth thing I want to talk about with the research process is actually the categories. Now, this book is actually a bestseller, and it's because during the research process, I took the time to find a favorable category that would allow this book, if it had the right number of sales each day, to become a bestseller. And the best tool that's helped me with this is Publisher Rocket. It gives you the exact numbers for each category for the amount of sales you need per day. So it takes out all the guesswork, and you just need to make sure that you're putting your book in the most favorable category for it to become a bestseller. And I do have a full video on this tool that you can check out. So once you've taken care of the research process and you've done everything you can, then it's about designing the cover and interior. And with this particular book, I did outsource parts, and this included the cover and some interior pages. And this is strictly because I want to create the best book possible on Amazon. So I know that I'm good at creating covers, but if I want an exceptional cover, then I would rather pay for that extra little bit of quality that's going to take my book to the next level. Doing this actually also frees up my time so I can focus on the parts that I feel that I'm really exceptional at. And overall, I believe this creates a much better quality book. So in terms of the book cover, this was actually only outsourced for $20, and then the interior pages, they were another $60. So the book in total actually cost around $80 to make. So it wasn't actually overly expensive to outsource this book. And there are still a lot of quality freelancers out there that you don't have to overspend for. I've also got this video on my channel that actually walks you through my process of hiring a cover designer. And the maximum I paid in this video was $30 for one cover, but that was just because I wanted it within a day. So I definitely encourage you to outsource the parts of your book that you're not so confident at, and make sure that you find and use tools and softwares that's going to save you time and money. Now, for this particular book, I did heavily invest in running ads, and I'll walk you through my ad spend using KDP Champ. So for this particular book, I've actually run 4 different type of ads on it. So the first is a lottery ad for cheap clicks. Then we've got an automatic ad. Third, we've got a manual keyword ad. And fourth, we've got a manual product ad. Now, personally, there are very few books that I will run several different type of ads on, but this had the criteria that I did outline in the research process. So getting into it, you can see for the month of January, the book actually grossed $366.09, and my ad spend was $178.26 from all of those ads. So the return on investment was 105.82%. Again, not everybody's going to be able to spend that amount on one book, but it is relative to what I was earning on Amazon KDP. So it wasn't a huge investment for me, but I knew that the niche had huge potential and I was already seeing some sales from ads. So I was willing to continue to let it run. And during the month of February, I saw a slight improvement. So I grossed $582.87, and I spent slightly more with $207.65, and an improved return on investment of 180.7%. And the same story kind of happened in March, where it was the first month I grossed over $1,000 with this book, and actually spent a total of $360.47 on ads. So we can see the overall return on investment is slightly improved again, with it being 247.06%. Then for April, we see another improvement again, royalties of over $1,000. The ad spend was actually slightly less now, so I was able to reduce my ad spend while still earning more. You can see this time my return on investment is 322.46%. May, again, another huge increase. My ad spend was actually only $303, but my royalties were $1,750.76. And then we see another improvement in July, ad spend being $305.71, but then a total royalties of $1,855.20. And then the highest point was actually in July. And for that month, I actually spent a total of $346.74 on ads, but it actually gave me my highest earning month from that book, and I made $2,420.81 just from that book alone. Since then, I did reduce the ads quite a lot. So for the month of August, I only spent $106.77, which grossed me over $1,500. And this was because the book is already ranking well on the first page and it's a bestseller. Then for the month of September, I scaled back the ads even more. I wanted to rely more on organic sales. So I only spent $89.48, and it grossed me $78.79. So running ads with this book has definitely been a huge factor in its success. Each ad has definitely been adjusted and reduced over time, but as the book is now ranking really well and on the first page, I have scaled it down and I'm not spending nearly as much on each ad. So in total, I would roughly say I've spent maybe over $2,500 on ads, and then around $80 just creating the book. But again, it's grossed me a 5-figure sum that will keep on continually growing, and that book will sit on Amazon forever. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you want me to compare it to my other book that's crossed 10K and contrast the two, then I can do that. But thanks for watching another video.